Welcome! Rather than immediately talking about reptilians, I'm going to talk about something which I find more interesting, which is energetic perception and how it really changes the way we view the world. 2 nights ago, I was laying in bed and asleep, and I woke up, and my left leg, particularly right above my left knee, really hurt. And I thought, did my left knee get broken in my sleep? So, using my energetic perception, picturing my knee in my mind, I had a look with the intention to see what was causing me pain. Now, usually I would see the energy body, which is a replica of the physical body, and I'd see curses or negative energy, or an entity just ripping nerves or whatever it's doing on my energy body, or I'd see the energy field above it. Instead, I was seeing my physical body. I saw the nerves, the muscles, the bones, and I went through each and I went, okay, there's nothing here. The only time my intuition my intuition can sometimes change what I'm planning to see if it feels it's more important, but I wasn't seeing anything, and I went, alright, that's annoying, my knee hurts, and I don't see why. This hasn't happened to me for years. Usually, even if it takes me a few hours or a few days, I would be able to see the issue of what was wrong and begin to work on it. So, I thought, oh well, it'll fix itself. So I went back to sleep and woke up, and the pain was still there. And I thought, alright, I'll look at it again. Couldn't see anything. Looked at it physically. Was thinking, is there fluid build-up? Is there anything that I need to worry about? There was nothing there. And then I looked on my spine. Our energy pathways tend to start from the center of the chest and the heart and go from there. And I found a major energy suppressor, an energy siphon, on the back of my spine, taking up about 2/3 of it. And I went, oh, that's why I'm not seeing anything. It's because this is taking all the energy that I would use in order to view this. And I remembered that, particularly as a child, I had a lot of chronic pain. I would wake up and my leg, pretty much in that same spot, would be hurting a lot. And when your leg's hurting when you're an adult, it's really not a big deal. You have, at least you should have, especially if you've been through a lot of pain, good pain tolerance, good willpower. You just go, alright, this is annoying. But as a child, pain feels much more painful as you've not built up the mental tolerance for it, really. And it's been years since I've actually experienced not going, oh, there's a curse there, and starting clearing it, and then the pain either goes down or it gets worse, and then as I clear the actual problem, it goes down and goes away. Now, for most people, if they've not trained or have an innate amount of energetic perception, they just wake up and they go, oh, my leg hurts. My leg hurts. They have no real way or even concept of a way to discern what has actually happened to them. So, in and out of sleep, I started erasing it, and then if I go to sleep while my energy's doing something, we'll continue to do it, and I erased that energy siphon completely off my spine, and then began to see that around my leg was a lot of a mix of like purgatory and jinn energy was around there. Most of what I clear mainly now is stuff that is past life. I look at my Incarnation Point. That is the point where you come into this life. It can be 4 weeks before, 4 weeks after conception. It can be a week and a half. It's rare to be a week and a half, but it can be before then. But that's when your soul entered into the beginning of your physical body. So most of what I clear is not things I've picked up now. It's just things that I've accumulated over a while. And if you have a desire to energy train, if you're really wanting to better yourself, you will find out fairly quickly that with the amount of stuff you have, you've either been on a losing streak for a while, or you just had one major catastrophic defeat and you ended up here in this prison matrix. You don't normally end up here in a good state, but some people, they end up here in a semi-decent state. They just got thrown in here, but then you're here for 20, 30, 50,000 years, and then the accumulation of targeting on here builds up. I'd say one annoying thing about this matrix, because a lot of matrices, there's demons, there's everything in here, except they're physical, so you can't really, if they're in your bedroom, you can't have your partner or anyone else say, no, that's not real, because they may be physically eaten by them. So there's not really the option to be either willfully ignorant or just make the choice along with having little to no energy perception. Most people tend to, especially anyone with a soul, tends to have it as a child, but if you deny it over, say, 20, 30 years out of fear, and you can then essentially block off most of that. But regardless of whether you can see the actual cause of the random pain you're having, or you can't, the pain itself will be there. And by actually training your perception, training and your overall energetic strength so you can do something about it, you're less of just a sitting target, and you can, begin to sleep peacefully as you've built that up. Random pain, especially, I think a lot of target people, especially as children, tend to believe we have some kind of, at least I did, I believed I had either there was something wrong with my neural pathways, there was something wrong with my brain, or there was something wrong with my nervous system, which was actively causing random pain. And it was really only when I was a teenager did I start to figure out that there was much more to it, especially because when I was a child, there'd be a few ghost-looking things in the corner of the room. Sometimes they'd be right at the foot of my bed or around me, but there wasn't much I could do about it. But it was only when I was a teenager when those ghost things got much more violent and much more obtrusive, much more in my face, much more handsy than they were when I was younger. And then it was very clear that, alright, something's grabbed me here, the next day I have pain there, that's the cause of it. I'd say most people, even if they don't believe in them, and you've either had a fortunate life, and you've lived somewhere without much negative energy being around, and little to no energetic perception, if you can believe this, but a lot of people, they can choose not to believe in ghosts. Now, ghosts are real, and that's like the most entry-level spiritual thing, right? There are ghosts. Most of them are negative, and they will cause you problems. Then, as you get into spirituality, alright, there are demons. Now, demons, unlike ghosts, they have much better energy cloaking, and unless they want you to see them, it's unlikely, if you've never tried to train your energetic perception, for you to be able to see them, unless they choose, unless you're sitting there and a giant minotaur demon partially manifests itself physically, you can just outright deny their existence. And then if you get into more spirituality, if you get into aliens, not even knowing that aliens are energetically based or multi-dimensional creatures, the first one you'll usually come across as the grey aliens, and then after that you'll come across the Reptilians. Now these are lizard men, they're very, very common. Most people, if they don't, let's say, question any mental images that come in their mind, they may not be aware that they've been targeted by reptilians for 40 or so years. Usually reptilians will cloak themselves as other people, often as other gods. I believe I've said this before, but if there is a race of gods, like the Greek gods for example, and they are depicted as being human and looking like the race that is worshipping them, those are usually reptilians, right? The Egyptian gods, they made no effort. That's what they are, that's what they look like. But the reptilians are at least 10 different major religions, because it's a very profitable and productive energy flow for them. Now, even if, for example, I was raised Christian and I got dragged to church every week, which was incredibly boring, it was not engaging, and it's, you hear the story once, okay, then you hear it again and again and again, and it's just boring at that point. When I was there as a child, something felt very off, but I wasn't putting the energetic pieces together. I was just thinking, I'm bored out of my mind, and this place just feels odd. Something's not right. In a lot of Christian churches, in my experience, when you're sitting there, when people pray, there will be reptilian entities around I mean, they can be right next to them, they can be inside of them, but they will be there and they will just be feeding off their energy. Reptilians, for the most part, have a monopoly on Christian energy. So if you go to pray to something like the God, right? Or heck, even if you were to try and give energy to, your friend, usually you will have to clear quite a few reptilians from that pathway and connection, because they'll be there waiting for that, and then you'll pray, you'll give energy freely, and then they just consume it. And all you've done is feed something which is actively working against your better interest. With reptilians, there are a few different kinds. The most common are green reptilians. They're the grunts, pretty much. If you Google image green reptilian, that's what they look like. Green lizard man, face out to about here, big red eyes. Energetically fairly weak, but it very much depends on how much energy they have siphoned off of people throughout their lifetime. So there's no real baseline for them. When you first start, you'll see a baseline and you'll think, oh, all green reptilians are fairly weak, but then there'll be one that's could be potentially one of the strongest things you've come across, just because it's been feeding off people for such a long time. Now, they don't have souls and they don't have physical organs. These are manifestations of negative energy. Then there are blue reptilians. These are the ones that target psychics, energy workers, any kind of tarot card readers, anyone who really gets into trying to figure out what's going on, even if it's not energy, but they're just trying to piece together history, will get targeted by blue reptilians. Blue reptilians are very common when it comes to mediums. If you've ever seen anything on the television or YouTube of a medium who will be there and he'll call out someone in the audience and he'll go, oh yes, your whole family's here, there's grandma, there's grandpa, there's your 3 dogs, 6 sisters, whatever they have. The medium himself is not lying. He is energetically, in his mind, seeing those family members, and those family members, they sound convincing enough to him because he didn't know them. But in reality, it's just blue reptilians that have cloaked themselves as these family members. The main reason is to really gain trust and to say, 8 or 9 things which are, depending on how smart they are. Some of them are very smart and they'll say they're all really well, and some are very stupid and they'll get things wrong. But depending on how smart they are, their goal is to build trust with people and mislead them and, even potentially help guide them through a few minor things, and then a major thing like, should I marry this person? They'll give you the wrong answer every time. Blue reptilians also, if you use tarot cards, that's the energy that people connect to. Somebody with little to no energetic strength, but who has practice with tarot cards, can pull out a deck and get fairly accurate reading, but it's more so the blue reptilians giving the reading and the cards are just a conduit. Reptilians mainly rely on psychological attacks and cloaking. They're not really one to manifest in your surroundings. If you're seeing them in your surroundings, that means you've trained your own innate abilities enough to see them, rather than them wanting you to see them. I'd say I heard about this fairly often when I've spoken to people who are targeted but they've not built up their energetic strength, where they will be trying to sleep and they will just see black static all around them. That is usually alien entities, demons, and ghosts. Usually don't care if you can see them. Some of them do, but most don't. But it will often be alien entities, normally reptilian and prime mantis entities, that will have cloaked themselves in that static energy, and as you get stronger, you can perceive through that static energy fairly easily and see what they're actually doing. I'm going to talk about dreams right now. When we dream, we tend to enter... It's probably best if I just explain it with a diagram. So here we have our consciousness, right? It's a big, just think of it as a sphere. And then down to the right is our subconscious, and then down to the left over here is our unconscious. Now with energetic targeting, we get these all messed up through trauma and they deliberately do this, so your subconscious will be partially merged with your unconscious, and your conscious will be merged with your subconscious, and even potentially unconscious, and that's how you end up with really annoying repeating thought loops that even when you energetically challenge them and when you pick them apart, they still continue because parts of your mind have merged together. So when you sleep, you leave your conscious and you gradually begin to enter into your subconscious. Now, in the subconscious, or in the part between your conscious and your subconscious, negative entities, and the reptilians do this a lot, they will essentially have built an artificial negative energy dream realm, and then when you are entering a dream, you're not normally retaining that much of your sense of self. The more energetic strength you build up, the more sense of self that you tend to retain when dreaming. Especially if you're like me and you spend all your time energy clearing and strengthening. Most of the time, if something's off, I just start clearing things in dreams, even if I'm not that switched on in the dream. But dreams, at least these fake artificial ones. Now, if it's not a fake artificial one, if you've entered your subconscious and it's one that your subconscious has set up, that's different. Negative entities can break into that and cause problems, but I'm also talking about artificial negative entity created dreams. So you go in there, and every single person in there, it's very common for them to all be reptilian, but they've all cloaked themselves as people. The main reason for this is while you're in the dream, the whole time your energy is getting siphoned off of you, and then, of course, as they do things in the dream and they interact with you, especially through physical touch, they can steal more of your energy that way. I would say, I mean, this is very common. It's in pretty much everyone at this point in time. So it must be very much a very successful energy farm for them to continue to do that. I'll just have a look at questions now. If anyone has any questions, let me know. What is this video clearing? Read the title. And everything I've just talked about the last 20 minutes. I'm just remembering this question off memory. Irene left a comment that was very good, which was, are Kundalini and the chakras related to each other? And the answer is not really. The chakras are put in 9 times out of 10 by praying-mantis entities. It's just a very common energy restricting and energy stealing implant. Whereas Kundalini is its own negative energy grid that exists in this matrix, but is naturally foreign to it, I'd say. Now, chakras tend to be targeted by whichever major entity race is targeting you, whether it be purgatory entities or demons or Kundalini snakes or amphibians, you name it. They will target them and hybridize them so that they are made out of their energy and then use them against you in that way. But chakras are not inherently created or with the intention to be used by Kundalini energy, but they can become that way. Negative entities, pretty much all of them, their end goal is energetic and then physical hybridization. So if reptilians are targeting you and you don't have much energetic perception, people will often end up with their body just feeling heavy, and they won't know why. They'll often end up with really bad lower back pain, and then as they increase their ability to be able to perceive what's going on, they'll realize that their really bad lower back pain is because they have a reptilian tail sticking out of them. And if they work really hard, they energetically chop off the tail and they erase it, their back pain will usually be gone for 6 hours, but then the tail will grow back. And the reason for that is negative entities really don't want you to feel like you've gained any kind of traction when it comes to clearing them. So yes, you've worked really hard on clearing the tail, but the rest of that reptilian energy inside of you is now stretching itself and decreasing its overall amount, but it is stretching itself in order to recreate the tail. That's also very common with people targeted with dragon hybridization, and really any kind of entity race. with the tail. How do you replenish life energy? Well, first off, you need to question how have you lost life energy, and then try and figure out a way to prevent that. Best way to replenish life energy is getting proper peaceful sleep and not getting drained. Really, it is organic. So long as you're alive, you should be replenishing your life energy. Oh no, my camera stopped recording. See, last time it stopped recording on its own for no reason. So this time I have plugged it into my computer and I can see on my monitor the camera feed. So I can see when it stops recording. Hopefully that wasn't for too long. It's annoying, but this is a lot better than having to put like a mirror there. So that's how I'm doing it. Does this clear Christian energy? No, because Christian energy, at least the overall energy it's trying to connect to, is not inherently reptilian. But reptilians majorly take advantage of that. Heck, if you go to a church and let's just say you're evil, right? You can go to some big American church, right, where there's thousands of people, and first off you'll have to clear the reptilians and anything else that is a competitor for you, and then you could, and this is negative, don't do this, but you could plug yourself into the energy grids of the church, and just as everybody's praying, you can steal their energy, right? So it's not inherently the religion, it is inherently the world system that is set up that is causing reptilians to be able to feed off people. It's just because they're unaware really and nothing's being done about it. Now if, let's say, a church was consecrated, it depends on how it's being consecrated. Most consecrations either don't work or they work for 10 days or so. It mainly depends on the energy use and the energy strength of the person doing it, but theoretically, yes, you could consecrate an area if you had enough strength and prevent that. Can reptilian men cause a beep in your right ear or make it clogged? They can definitely make your ear clogged, yes. The beeping, that would either be implants, and well, that would usually be implants, and that would probably be from praying-mantis entities more so than from reptilians. Is there some reason some of us have always known we were targeted? Well, I mean, it just can depend on personality and how observant you are, along with the place you're born. Really, if you're somewhere that's really dark and if you're born to a cursed house and very haunted house and everything's out to get you from day one, it's hard to deny that things aren't out to get you when they're ignoring others. I'll just check if I've missed any other questions. And now YouTube is being uncooperative and won't let me scroll up in my own chat. There we are. Alright, it's working. No, I've not missed anything good. No, the reptilians don't really have anything to do with Anunnaki. They're completely different entity races. How often are dreams artificial compared to true subconscious dreams? Really depends how targeted you are. And it's also a cascading effect. If you're having artificial dreams, you're much more likely to have more negative energy artificial dreams than organic ones. But that would vary significantly person to person, and it also varies a lot what's going on with astrology. If anyone else has any questions, let me know, because there's not that much to talk about with reptilians. There's not that much I'm thinking that I could talk about right now about it. How do I have a purple background? I have a light on that I don't remember the name. Because whatever's going on in astrology has slowed my brain down a bit. But it is a light that you put to the side of you, and it hits the back of your head and frames you from the background, and then it also hits the background. Benefits of this video: clearing reptilian energy, reptilian implants, and then there's also another type of reptilian. You get reptilians that have hybridized themselves with other entity races, so demonic hybrid reptilians, they're pretty common. I'd say the main reason why I'm making a video for just reptilian energy is it's insanely common. So I felt a video for it needed to be made. Over the Christmas break, so long as I have the energetic stamina for it, I do plan to make quite a few videos. I'd like to do one, probably shouldn't say, because then the energies of those energies will start freaking out days or weeks before it's made. But I would like to make at least 3 or 4 live streams over this break period when most people are off. Yes, that's a good question. Are there physical reptilians? The answer is probably, but they're not walking around under the sunlight as politicians. They're just not. Now, for example, if you see someone like, I'll just make sure the energy doesn't come through when I say his name. Somebody like Mark Zuckerberg, right? That guy is not human at all. He doesn't know how to drink water. There's no way you get to be an adult and you haven't figured out how to convincingly drink water, right? But he was not born as a reptilian, and there was no reptilian, reptilian male or human female or the other way that gave birth to him. He would have been born as a person, and then over time, and perhaps he did something stupid, but over time he would have become possessed by energetic reptilians and mainly snakes. His stuff looks more like snakes than reptilians, especially his mannerisms. It's very snake-like. But he himself is not a snake wearing human skin. He is a physical body whose energy and his energy body and his soul have been so hybridized that he no longer... He's not running that body, right? The hybridization of all those snake and reptilian entities. Just realizing I probably shouldn't have said a name. Theoretically, that would be why he is acting the way that he does in a non-human-like way, and not a very convincing human-like way. It would be that energetically something else is running him. So no, I don't believe they are walking around physically. Perhaps in like deep underground caves or deep underground military bases where there is no sunlight, they could, and they need a lot of energy to, because they're foreign to this planet. So to manifest themselves, and this the third dimension where we are, to manifest themselves physically, they would need a lot of energy. But so long as they're deep underground where the sun wouldn't be preventing them from manifesting for any period of time, then yes, they could be manifested physically. But overall, no, they're not walking around physically and they're not running for office. No, don't put questions in caps. That was answering the question, should we put questions in caps? I'm not being mean. Is it normal to come to terms with this battle and actually start enjoying it? Well, I would say, to an extent, yes, it is normal, because you actually, for the first time in your life, get to start fighting back and sticking up for things. Like, you go through the school system and the whole thing is designed to beat you down and be as just inane and as moronic as possible, at least mine was. You go, hang on, half of this isn't even true, and that the half that is true has so much agenda in there that I have to pick it out. Right? So, yes, this actually gives you some control, and it gives you some, not just the idea, but it gives you the skill set to begin to change things and know that you won't be here 10,000 years from now going through another, nonsensical time. Do we live in duality? You'll have to specify what you mean by that. No, I don't think Mel Gibson is a physical reptilian. I like Mel Gibson, so that's unlikely. I'm not going to talk about corruption energy, because not something I can answer quickly. How do you drop into training when busy and distracted? Well, it's more so as you're energetically training, it'll become, with anything, like if you're, well, for example, it took me quite a while to learn how to tie my shoelaces because my mum was a terrible teacher and would scream at me if I was either taking too long or trying to think. So I evidently have an energy blockage over learning how to tie my shoelaces. But alright, so when you're learning to tie your shoelaces, the first time you have to actually focus at it, and then once you've done it like 20 times, you can just do it. It's like that. As you train your energetic abilities, and as you just get used to being able to do it with less and less focus, and it's easier to train often with being relaxed and just to hyper focus on it, then you can do it with 30% of your intent, with your attention, not intention, 30% of your attention, and then 20%, etc., etc. So that's how you can go about just, doing it all the time and running in the back of your mind. Or, like you, Kevin, if you've taught the same thing for like 20 years, right, you're teaching the same subject, then you can, depending on how good of a teacher you are, you can just, do your spiel, or if you're like one of my teachers, you just be like, alright, class, we're going to watch this movie, and it's a 4-hour documentary, and it's somehow going to take us 7 hours because I'll keep forgetting how far into it we are. You can do a lot of energy training if you're doing that. Don't do that though, that is terrible teaching. But, just keep practicing till it doesn't require that much of your attention. No, I don't think Mark Zuckerberg is a robot. He's too... A robot would be more convincing. Be much more convincing. Is it necessary to completely clear Kundalini before you can energy train? The answer is no. No, it's not. You will need to, it depends how much you have, you'll need to clear it if it's getting in your way and causing pain when you're moving energy through your body. But you don't have to be completely clear of it, just gradually work away at it, and then if it's becoming a problem, then yes, clear it if need be. I think we'll make a trauma ratio video in the future. I think I made one last year, well not trauma, but the emotional energy clearing. I may in the future do a trauma video, but it's not on the top of my list. I disagree, Kevin. I think class does end. should be able to relax every now and then and not get graded on everything you do. Are the archdemons still blasting us? Yes. Yeah. It's not good. The archdemons have a pretty strong foothold on the whole planet, and they're not going anywhere. It just... I'm a lot stronger now, so they're not as much of an issue for me, and I'm taking plenty of countermeasures for it. But yeah, if I drive around my local area. Before it looked like it should, and now it's just archdemon energy everywhere. But I do believe it will gradually lift. I don't think it'll be permanent. I don't know what MOPI is, so I can't tell you what I think of that. And no, I believe in training all the Daintians, not just the upper three. Yes, I am planning on doing a growing house shooting video or growing personal shooting video in the future. Probably not growing personal shooting, but I will most likely do a growing house shooting video in the future. But right now I'd like to make things that aren't just remakes of others, because I don't feel that's the most needed at the moment. what is the writing hovering over us as we sleep? I don't know. You could either be seeing the Matrix code, which does happen when you are in and out of sleep. Sometimes you end up having your perception stuck between reality and, well, it could be any dimension, the fourth. But if you're seeing the code, it's the 12th dimension. So if you're seeing that, you've woken up and something has gone, I wouldn't say wrong, but your perception is glitched out and you're physically seeing the 12th dimension, which has happened to me a few times. But I wouldn't worry about it unless, 10 minutes later you're still seeing it. Then that could be an issue. It's going to be hard to go through life if everything's code. Def Colony asked, can reptilian men put a fake dimension layer over your remote viewing? Yes, but then so can most entity races. But yes, if, for example, this is very common. Let's say you want to view someone and you go, alright, show me this person's true self, and you see, not even a reptilian, you could just see them, looking very calm in, a grassy field, but this person's evil, right? So that's not what the true self should look like. So you'll attack that, and then transform into a reptilian and start screaming at you. Erase the reptilian, and that is just essentially a false overlay they put over that person so you wouldn't see the truth. And then you may need to go through 5 or 6 overlays till you actually see the person. And that can be the same for anything. But most of the time, these overlays won't be on the other person, they'll be on your end. So let's say you go to view even just your bedroom, and you see something that looks like an alien space station, overlaid over your bedroom, and you will attack it, and you'll find out that it quickly falls away and that was just a false overlay on your end, and then you'll have to go through a few, but usually they'll be on your end, not the other person's end. I mean, I don't really focus on the dainties, so I'm not sure. I train all my energy centers, so I'm not sure what you mean by that. Who are the major blockers of primordial vision? Probably praying mantis, number 1, then grey aliens. They really don't like people being able to see what they're doing. And then it just depends on the main things targeting you and the main things in your area, so it would vary vastly there. Is astral projection worth practicing? Well, it's up to you. If you want to do it, go ahead, but it's not something I've practiced much because training and clearing your own perception and your own ability to view things, it's going to be much more reliable than astral projecting. If you've got a Komodo dragon demon running around your house and he's turning the lights on and off and being annoying, you don't really have time to sit down and spend 40 minutes to astral project to then go fight him. No, you can just sit there and blast him, and that's the end of it. So it's a big reason why I've not practiced much when it comes to astral projecting. What is the best way to attack fake dimensional layers? Just use your energy and have it manifest on them with the intention to erase it. That would be the best way to do it. Use the primordial hand I talked about 2 or 3 sessions ago. 2 or 3 healing videos ago. Overall, when it comes to live streams, and why it's been 2 months since the alien one, overall I spend most of my time clearing and training stuff, so I make these when I feel I should and when I have the energetic and mental stamina as well, because I could make a hour video that clears something, but making an hour video clearing something and also having the stamina to, while doing that, making coherent sense is important, and that's the reason why these often end up getting spaced out. Is it possible to time travel? Yes. That's a very loaded question. Is it possible to energetically remove trauma from the past? It's not so much you erase trauma from the past, it's more like you erase it at that point in time that it occurred. So you can't, at least in my experience, you're not going to be able to prevent it from happening in the past unless you're physically time travel, which is a completely different topic. But if you're energetically working on yourself, you can erase trauma at the point of origin, and that can cause it from having ricochet effect and a longer lasting effect, and causing instability throughout your energy field over a long period of time. I don't think I'll talk about time travel and working through time, because that is a lot can go wrong there, and probably just, if I don't answer it thoroughly, it'll just give you more questions. So any way to get stronger than Goku? Yes, lots and lots of training. Using the waterfall from your stomach as opposed to your whole body is just inefficient, because you'd just be overtraining one area as opposed to training your entire energy flow. I've talked about in another video how to remove chakras. It's fairly easy. I've taught people who've never done any energy training how to remove the chakras, and they've done it. They feel tired afterwards, and sometimes it's difficult and can take them a good 5-6 minutes of just yanking. But usually, unless your energy's really bad, which only would happen if you were like training something wrong, like Kundalini, or if you were living somewhere very dark, you should be able to remove them on your own. I wouldn't make a video for that. But yeah, if your desire is to do that, you should be able to. Reptilians in general, they have, I'd say, the agenda of energetic hybridization, but there's not much physical hybridization, probably because when they energetically target and hybridize people and possess them, they're very successful at it, and they really know how to take over. Whereas things like praying mantis entities and even greys, there is an agenda there for physical hybridization, like cross-species, like physical praying mantises. But reptilians, they're not really interested in that. They're just interested in energetic hybridization. Do I still do clearing sessions? Yeah, I took some time off. But yes, I am doing it. How can you get one? My website is back up and taking bookings now. For me, and just mentioning the leg and the spine energy siphoning thing, for some reason, a lot of what we have is at an incarnation point, and then it will activate one after the other. Because if everything activated at once, I'm pretty sure I'd physically die. I don't think I'd energetically die, but I'd physically die for sure. If everything there, but they seem to take turns. So sometimes, I'll be doing sessions terrifically, and then something big comes up, and I have to work on that, and it's massively lowered my energetic stamina, and I'm stuck clearing that. So if I take time off, it's not that I'm in trouble, it's just that I'm stuck clearing something that I picked up eons ago and is an issue now. Irene asked, the meridians and minor chakras shown in Chinese acupuncture are natural, whereas the 7 rainbow-coloured chakras and plants? I don't know, because I have not studied Chinese acupuncture. The 7 chakras through the body, and then 1 in each hand and 1 in each foot, those are fake. The Chinese energy points, I wouldn't consider them chakra points, but yeah, the energy centers throughout the body, yes, those are accurate. Is it possible for the energy of the planet to improve? In the long term, yes. It should be able to improve. Don't try and improve it yourself, you'll get absolutely bodied. One thing, and you see this a lot, especially in New Age communities, is people have this concept that they're, I'd say, strong enough, and it's their duty to protect the planet. It's not, right? Start off on a smaller scale, and often the people pushing this are possessed, or their soul's gone, and that's just a demon running them, and they're pushing this agenda of basically trying to get everybody in harm's way as much as possible to get them killed and then get them possessed. So rather than trying to protect the planet, try and protect your bedroom and the rest of your house, and then you can gradually expand into your neighborhood if you want. And you may find that, that's actually really, really hard. If you're sleeping and you're getting attacked by things regularly, you're not at a level where you can protect the planet, right? You're at a level where you need to protect your bed and yourself. So definitely start small and gradually work your way up, and that way you'll live much, much longer and get much more done in the long run. Can we have a Google PDF of the perfect training routine? No, because it's kind of like asking Mr. Universe, what's the best muscle building routine? He will tell you, look, these are some exercises you can do to build muscle. If he takes you seriously, these are some exercises you can do to build muscle. But people are built differently, and people's experiences, people have different damage in certain areas that will alter the type of techniques that are best for them to practice a lot. So there's not one routine that's perfect, right? It's more so up to you listening to your body and training techniques using your intuition and listening to yourself. Any other questions about reptilians? How have we even been going for? This is 47 minutes. That's good. For some reason I thought I was at like 23. I'm thinking, oh no, I've run out of things to talk about pretty early on. Ninja, don't ask questions you know the answer to. It's weird. I can feel you know the answer to it. You're fishing for something. Just yeah, come on. Does this video help against a takeover? Well, will it help with you if you're battling reptilian possession? Yes, absolutely it will. Put on as many tabs as you want and, loop it as much as you want. Yes. If you're talking about a friend who has been completely possessed by reptilians, meaning that, complete possession, their soul is gone, will it help them? Yes. Is it likely to... it'll clear the reptilian energy. The problem is that if someone's lost their soul, they're just an empty vessel and something else would try and take them over. But yes, it would help them as well. Oh, one thing I should mention. With my videos, I will use, and I'll put this in the description, I will use a website called LoopTube, and you just copy the video in, and then you copy the URL and you paste it there, and then just loops it. Then I think LoopTube caught on to what I was doing, and they made it that if I'm new to the video and change the tab, it stopped playing. So then what I do, I use the Brave browser, I mute the site, and then I play it with audio, but with the site muted, so there's no audio coming off the site, but LoopTube believes it's playing with audio. That's how I play them if I'm playing them online, instead of having them just downloaded on my computer and playing them that way. Are the Egyptian pyramids possessed with reptilians? I wouldn't say they're possessed with reptilians. There'd be a lot of Egyptian god energy there, but and there's the Egyptian god Reptilian, whose name I won't say, but yeah, I've not forgotten, I'm just not going to say it. But no, I wouldn't say the main problem there is reptilian energy. Is there a way not to feel other people's emotions and energy? Training, really? I need to really think about how I'm going to word that and explain it, but yes, there are ways to get your empath abilities under control. Was Jesus reptilian? I don't know. I think that's unlikely. I think he would have been human. It's more so... history's been so majorly altered But the fact of the matter is now, at this moment, if you go to connect with Jesus, yeah, you're going to go straight to reptilian energy, because they've set up so much there that whatever was potentially there, it now has a giant reptilian energy vortex there. So that's what you'll be getting. Yes, I do plan to, once I'm able to, put out more techniques. If you see someone, mainly a celebrity really, who on video they do flicker between like being almost physically reptilian and their human face, that is just them having so much reptilian energy, being so possessed that it is manifesting physically on them temporarily. But no, they're not, you know, the second they leave the public eye, they don't go home and take off their clothes and their skin, and they're reptilians. No, they're human-ish, and they're just they're energetically completely reptilian at that point. But their body would still be classified as human, just switching due to energy. Stop recording again, no! Come on, start recording. Nope. Alright, it's recording again. Yes, they're not going home and they're taking off their clothes and their skin and they're reptilians. No, they're physically human, but they have so much reptilian possession that it's physically causing them to flicker into a reptilian. How would you clear your stolen memory? Stolen memory? Who stole it? Rephrase that. If another person's stolen your memory, that sounds a bit terrible. But if you're talking about reptilians and reptilians and Pomantis, repressing your memory, that would be something different, and that would just come in time as you clear and train yourself. Can reptilians access you more if you've had a lot of alcohol? Well, alcohol tends to massively lower your energetic resistance. So, yes, but it's not just reptilians. Everything has much easier access to you if you have inebriated yourself and put yourself in an altered state and a weaker state of consciousness. Are mushrooms alien? No, I don't believe so. I think they're, at least most of them are inherent to Earth. No, I know you can see and hear me, but when I go to upload this so that YouTube hasn't downgraded it to like 144p, because they just do that when it's a live stream, it'll have like, 2 minutes of black. That's not good. Or it'll be 2 minutes of where I've switched to my webcam. Just checking the energy. Overall, it's looking very good. I don't really have anything else to add. So long as I'm up to it, I will be doing more live streams over the coming weeks. So, that should ideally happen. Alright everyone, have a good day.